Welcome to Go with Kyle Harbaugh.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Go with Kyle Harbaugh. I'm Matt Sky. By combining traditional business building methods with AI, Kyle helps law firms, financial advisors, and a variety of businesses thrive in a changing world to build personalized roadmaps to success. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
So, Kyle, let's jump in. Let's learn about your company. Can you share your background and why you started Chief Go Officers?
Yeah. So the reason I, got into this is I felt a burden, to be honest, for all of my colleagues, my friends that were attorneys. I worked alongside of attorneys for 12 years, and actually over 12 years. And it was, no matter where I went, no matter who I worked for, I saw that attorneys were just very, very busy, overburdened with work, and they worked a lot in their business, not on their business. And I had some unique experiences helping build law firms, and I wanted to come alongside of them and give them business support. Turns out that this isn't a problem that's unique to just lawyers. Financial professionals also have this issue. They work a lot in their business, providing the actual service for their client, but they don't work on their business. And so oftentimes those businesses are stunted. They have poor operations. And just with a little bit of attention, some love, we can get them in a much better place, running much, much smoother.
I think you're so right. And so many companies now across all sectors are just spending so much time promoting themselves and trying to manage the business side, not actually doing the thing they do. But I want to ask you, so what kind of qualifications and experiences led you to this path?
Yeah, so I worked at a startup law firm for several years and did all sorts of networking, business development type activity there because we were a small law firm doing it, and over the 3 years that I was there, we grew. We tripled in size. We changed offices twice in the 3 years I was there. We really made a significant impact in what we did. And, that firm is thriving now. I then left and worked with another attorney who had very similar issues, process problems, and just things hadn't been updated in a while. And so gave him a refresh. And then I went on to work with the Postal Service for several years. And the neat thing about Postal Service is it's a massive organization. It has systems and tools for everything. But even though it's a government agency with all sorts of money, it's a billion-dollar agency that has over 600,000 employees, there's still the same problems cropped up. And I worked in their legal department, and there was still the dysfunction that was common to other law firms that I had worked with was there as well. And so for instance, one of the things, they had standard operating procedures, but they weren't updated and they weren't really being adhered to. So I've had several different interesting, unique experiences where I've done the work, and, I want to provide that service to a broader audience now.
So jumping into law firms, why do you think the role of Chief Go Officers is so crucial with today's law firms?
Lawyers are really good at being lawyers. There's a whole different level of skill involved in growing a law firm. You have to be a good leader. You have to be a good talent manager. You have to know how to hire. You have to have all these other business skills. And they don't teach you that in law school. And so it's very helpful to have someone like me come alongside of an attorney, a law firm owner, and supplement where those skills are lacking.
Just to add on that a little bit, how did your career path lead you to focus on vision, mission, and values, VMV,
Yes,
within organizations?
So that really is the heartbeat of an organization. So many get this wrong, or they don't do it at all. It's very, very important to have your vision. What is it that you want to do? What is it, the improved state or the advantage you want to move toward? And then that will dictate your mission. What is it, the mission that you need to execute on so that you can move towards that vision? And then values, is downstream of those. Values, well, they all interplay with each other. Values really informs the other two. And so, that could be, all sorts of different things, whether it be innovation or candor or, trust or just all sorts of different, values. They're unique to you, but a lot of companies, they don't do that well or at all, like I said, and that sets you apart. that lets you know who you want to attract, who you want to have on your team, people who want those similar things, who have a similar vision. They will be attracted to that. And a lot of companies, they go, well, our mission is to make money. It's not very motivating. It's not very, that's a given.
It's not super inspiring.
Yeah, it's not inspiring. People aren't drawn to that. It's a given. Money is important, but it's not the only equation. And people want something more that's going to help them stay there in your organization. And that's ultimately what you want, is a low turnover rate for your employees.
How did you land on the VMV model? Just curious. What led to that?
Yeah, so, that's an interesting question. So some people, they teach, mission, vision, values. What I stated before is kind of flip-flop. So they have a mission, like they're saying, I want to help this group, and they have their mission statement, and then their vision statement will be something like, we want to help small businesses, 1,000 small businesses in the next 5 years, grow and operate better, just to, do a simple example. Well, I think it's the other way around. I think there's a good reason for that. You need to have a vision of an improved state, of an advantage. So you might hear it in a different order. It's, at the end of the day, you can make your own mind, but I think it starts with vision, mission, and then value.
Let's touch on it again, though, because I think you're right. It's not just that it's an important part of a business, it's kind of crucial to a company or an organization's success. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I've seen, like I said before, mission done really poorly, where you talk to employees and it's like, so what's the mission here? They might tell you something, or they might say, like, pull out a piece of paper and look at it, because they don't remember it. It never gets talked about. And so, they don't really know what the mission is, or why what they're doing, how they're contributing matters and is contributing to the bottom line. So it's very important to have that front and center, top of mind, and that decisions are made in a way that are in line with mission, vision, values. All of those, those three key elements are they feed into so many things. So many things are downstream of that, whether it's writing job descriptions or advertising. Advertising gets a lot clearer if you can communicate to your people that you want to reach what your values are, what your mission is, what is it, how do you want to improve their lives, and kind of sell that dream outcome to them. So that's going to set you apart. It's going to allow your company to really stand out from the crowd, because most people just aren't doing it, or they're not doing it very well.
Why do you think vision, mission, and values is so often overlooked? Because so many companies do jump in, and I think they never even sit to think, like, wait, why do we exist?
Right. I think there's probably several different reasons. I think a lot of people are just maybe not so thoughtful, or they got busy and they just have moved on to something that is, very shiny or pressing, very scary maybe. And they're so focused on that they haven't taken a step back to look and see just how important it is, and how vision, mission, and values really play into all of their decisions, whether it's operations or marketing or hiring. There's so many different things that those play into. And if you don't have them squared away, your things will be out of whack. I've seen plenty of instances where operations, what they say they want to accomplish, and then the actual day-to-day operations are not in sync. And so I think it's something that they're just distracted. I would say that's probably the largest majority of folks.
Almost the classic cliche of, so concerned whether you can, you ask whether you should. Can you provide an example for us of how a robust VMV framework has positively impacted an organization you've worked with?
Yes. So one of our clients we're working with, we iterated several times. They had kind of some ideas of what their vision, mission, and values were, but we worked with them to really hone that and craft that well. And now they're communicating it to their staff. They're including it in their job descriptions, and they're really setting the tone for the culture. If you want to build a culture, you have to have, a good, solid vision statement, mission statement, and value statements. So, it's very important for building a positive culture that helps people stay. And we've seen that, a lot of people are quiet quitting. That shouldn't happen. If you have people who are aligned with your vision and values, they want to, they believe in what you're doing, and they've connected with it, and they're working towards it in a way that they shouldn't quit, or they shouldn't quiet quit. They shouldn't just take up space or do half work. They should have the character to want to do a better job than that.
So jumping in a little bit to sort of the nuts and bolts of your operation, how do you help companies develop and align their vision, mission, and values with their strategic goals?
Yeah, so part of it is just understanding the business owner, what they want out of their business, where they want to go, and what we need to get there, what they've done. So a lot of the initial consultation, where we start, it's a lot of questions. We've actually developed a questionnaire that's very detailed to get through all this stuff, because we have to know what they want. The work I do is very custom. It's very tailored. It's, what do you want out of your business? Maybe you don't want a large law firm. Maybe you want more of a lifestyle practice that allows you to, go play golf, every week. And maybe it means you're totally out of the business and you get to watch Netflix more. I don't know what you want. Maybe you want a 25-person law firm. Maybe you want a 100-person law firm. Like, what we do is going to look different for all of those. And whether you want to remain practicing, or if you want to kind of transition out one day and be more of a talent manager, all those things are important. And we need to understand what that is so that we can make the right recommendations.
What are some of the biggest surprises business founders discover when they go through this process?
I would say a lot of times law firm owners are very focused on an issue. And then once I get in and I look, the issue they are so focused on is often just a symptom of a deeper problem. And so that's why I love the systems we've come up with. Is it really helps us to treat the root causes of the problems and give them lasting solutions. Sometimes it's important to treat those symptoms, but that's step 2 or 3 down the line. You have to, address step 1 at first.
And at this point, is there one sector where you see maybe the most challenges, or where it's easiest to implement a VMV strategy?
No, I don't think there's a unique challenge to one particular industry. I will say law firms do have a unique challenge in that only law firm owners can own only lawyers can own law firms. So you must be an attorney, you must have a law license in order to own that business entity. That's why we haven't seen private equity come in and gobble up and consolidate a bunch of law firms. So it's, like I said before, law school teaches you to be a great lawyer, doesn't teach you how to, do leadership well, or run a business, or, market, or these other things. And so you really need to have other, skilled people around you that can help supplement where you are, help supplement your skills so that you can grow your business effectively and consistently.
Great point. And so zooming out a little bit, let's say, what advice would you give business leaders looking to strengthen their company's VMV?
First off, just understand what's important to you. What do you want? What is the dream outcome? And then work backwards from there. The thing I see the most is people say, I want this thing, but they haven't thought about how to get there. They say, I want a 25-person law firm, but they haven't thought about the infrastructure that they need to build to support a law firm of 25 attorneys. How many other staff do you need? Who is going to hire that staff? How are you going to retain that staff long enough for them to stay with you and incentivize them in a way where they're going to stay with you? That's one of the tricky parts of this is you hire somebody, they work for you for a while. You might train them, enhance their skills, make them very good, and then they leave to go hang up their shingle and do their own thing. How do you incentivize them in a way that is going to consistently keep them so you can grow your law firm? So these are all things you need to think about, and you need to organize your vision, values, and your mission in a way where that is attractive to certain individuals. And it'll repel other people, but you know, that's fine. Now you know who wants to work with you and who doesn't. So many people, the feeling is in the office, well, we're just here to make the managing partners money. Like that's not very motivating. That's not something that gets me up in the morning, you know. And so if you can clearly state what you're about, and you know, it might be, we support each other as a team. We have fun outside of work. We do service projects outside of work, things of that nature, where you are, you know, you're saying something more than just make money.
I think it's so vital, and we're seeing that with so many young people too, who really want a mission beyond the money aspect. Not that that's not important, but as we wrap up, I want to ask you, if you had one key takeaway for today, what would that be? Don't
neglect vision, mission, and values just because you don't see money being made. It's a very powerful idea that is going to affect all sorts of other things. All sorts of other things are downstream of it, and it will make you money in the long run. You just need to give it a little bit more time.
Fantastic point to wrap up on. You've been listening to Go with Kyle Harbaugh. I'm Matt Sky. To discover more, check out chiefgoofficers.com. You can also find them on social media. Kyle, thanks so much for your time today.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.